Was doing a pull on my way home yesterday, and all of a sudden I had no boost, so I took the intake off to check the compressor, see if it had any play in and out. But it turns out it doesn't move at all. So it's time for a new turbo. Well, I was gonna save this for next year, but I guess we're throwing this turbo on early. So this is a GT3582, and it has the Mitsubishi bolt-on housing. So it's like the FP30 style housing. And so we can bolt it right up to the FP manifold. And then I got this PTP turbo blanket for it as well. So yeah, I guess we're throwing this guy on a lot sooner than I had thought. I do have to do some modifications. So this is a V-band, and it does have the downpipe. So it goes from like a little 2.5 inch here to a 3 inch. So I have to modify the 2-bolt flange on the car and go to a 3 inch V-band. But other than that, this thing should bolt right up. I am gonna check the straightness of the flange here to make sure that that's good. I do need to extract this guy. So we got a broken bolt in there, so that's awesome. But we'll order a new bolt kit as well and throw this guy on. Since the turbo seized on the Talon, we're going to be throwing this guy in. It's a GT35 I, and it's got a billet compressor wheel, a bolt-on Mitsubishi FP housing with a FP force performance manifold. We got the heat shield and the blanket. I don't think I can use both, but we'll definitely use one. And then we're going to be upgrading our head bolts to head studs. So I've got the valve cover gasket there. We've got some VR1 10W30 oil, the V-band clamps for the new downpipe, since we're going to be going to a 3 inch V-band instead of the 2.5 inch 2-bolt. We've got an EGT probe, since the old one, the threads were all mangled, so we're going to be replacing that. And then we've got the 1650cc injectors and the new connectors, since I had to cut the old ones off. And then we're just waiting on a new drain line because I want to get a really big one. So we're going to a 3/4 inch drain line for this guy, since we've got a really big drain hole on the housing. So yeah, lots of new parts to get on, but hopefully we can get that done in about a week here. Started doing the turbo removal on my car, and immediately after taking the wastegate off, I noticed we got some water in here. So I'm not sure what that's all about, but obviously we've got something messed up. Maybe it tried compressing some water and it locked up, or who knows. Originally I thought it was because I'm getting my oil feed from the head, and it's a journal bearing turbo, so you want to run that from the oil filter housing. So I still think that's the problem, but I don't know why I'm seeing water in the exhaust housing. So we'll take a look into that more, but let's get this thing ripped out. Got the turbo out. That really took like no time at all. It's actually really simple. I've taken this turbo off this setup a couple times already, so all of my nuts and bolts were really easy to take off. If you're taking yours off for the first time, you're probably gonna fight with it, but mine was really simple, easy to take off, nothing was fighting me. A couple things I'm gonna change on the new turbo is we're gonna put a new oil drain on. We need to get, I'm probably gonna change out this, you can see here it kind of reduces into, I don't even know what size this is, maybe like 2 1/4 or something, but we're gonna make it 2 1/2 all the way through, just because on the new turbo we have a bigger diameter than the old one. So we can, either we get a coupler, which I'm gonna need a new coupler anyways, but we might as well just enlarge the pipe to 2.5. That should be pretty easy to do. But otherwise, just the drain line and the intercooler piping, the rest of it should pretty much just bolt right on, which is really nice. And I will be taking this apart. I'm not going to do it just yet. I'll throw that guy in first, and then we can figure out what went wrong with the other one. One thing I did notice that obviously isn't very good, and could have been another reason as to why we seized it, is, I don't know if you'll be able to see here, this is my oil feed from the head, and this little ring broke. You can see this guy, this thing broke off, and this essentially I'm missing a piece here, this guy right here. So you can see it attached to here, which was, that's how we threaded on into the head, was this guy, this line, and this was broken. So I don't know, it wasn't leaking because I checked there a few times and it was not leaking, but I don't know if maybe the line got kinked somehow or something, but or we twisted the line and prevented oil, because this the turbo seized like 2 days after I noticed that this was like cracked. I didn't know it was broken like this, but maybe that's what happened. So a couple things to look after, but we're going to be changing our oil feed back to the oil filter housing, so we won't be using that line for the head anymore. So I had to fight with the drain pipe because one of the bolts was that the head was stripped, so I had to fight with that for a little bit, and then I took a bunch of degreaser and brake clean and tried to clean this off as best I could. I know the valve cover's leaking, so we're fixing that because we're doing the head studs, but I'm also pretty sure my head gasket has a leak, but that's maybe we'll just torque those head studs down nice and good and that'll go away, right? Probably not, but that's what we're doing for now anyways. And I took the O2 housing off of the turbo, and it's not rubbing anywhere on the turbine side or the compressor side, so it is still seized up on this side as well, but there's really nothing to see visually without taking it apart. And again, I'm assuming it's just because of the lack of oil that was supplied from the head. So I think with the oil filter housing it'll be a lot better, especially because it's a journal bearing and it needs that kind of oil pressure. And then again, we're going to get that new drain pipe. This is the factory 2G one, and this is the one that came on the turbo when I bought it, but it necks down quite a bit, so we're not doing that. This one's honestly a larger diameter than this guy is, but they have different fittings. The bolts are a little further apart on the Garrett versus an MHI turbo. But we got that one coming in, so we'll have to do that another day. Right now I'm in the process of just drilling this bolt out on this turbo since it's seized, or stripped, ripped, whatever, broke it off inside, sorry. That's the word I'm looking for. Broke it off inside, so I'm just gonna drill it out. I do have the new bolts kicking around somewhere, so we'll throw the new bolts in and be good to go. Well, the turbo's mounted up. I got a bunch of paper towel everywhere just covering all the orifices on this thing, because as you can see it's like super dusty. I'm doing it in the back alley, so super dusty. Don't want any debris getting inside the engine, so got all the holes covered up, and then everything fits really nice. The heat shield looks okay, looks decent. The blanket will fit under it, I think. It's a bit of a squeeze, but I think I'm gonna try and run both. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but we'll give it a go. I need to get a few things. So I did take that lower intercooler pipe out and took it apart. This guy right here. So it did neck down. I thought it was like 2 1/4. It actually goes to 2-inch. So we're gonna chop it right there, extend it, make it 2 1/2 all the way, get a coupler on there and get it on the turbo. But yeah, we don't want that bottleneck there like that. And then I need to get a 3/8 BSPT fitting for the oil filter housing for the new, just down on the ground there, for the new feed line. So I need to get that so we can run a proper oil feed on this new turbo. Need to get a bolt to plug up here. I think that's just a M10 by 1.25, and a couple clamps for the coolant hoses. And then we're gonna do the downpipe, get this chopped off. The reason I have to cut this off is because when I got the new V-bands, it didn't really mate up. It's supposed to sit nicely on this ring, and it doesn't on this locator, and it doesn't. So we're gonna have to chop this off and get the new V-band on there, put this EGT bung right on like that, get that welded on. I'll probably just run this in the car for now and just weld the bung on. That should be pretty easy install. But yes, lots to do still. Got to do the head studs. I'm kind of worried about doing it outside just with how dusty it is, but I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I'll wait for that. I can probably do the injectors because those are pretty quick and easy to do. So I might just do the injectors right away, wire up the new pigtails. So you can see how dusty everything is. Everything's so dusty. So, like, look at the floor. It's just filthy. But yeah, still lots to go here, guys. I'll keep you posted. So there's the new FIC injectors, 1650s, and these are the Rochester ones that we had in there. A couple of these I'm actually surprised weren't just leaking. I mean, like this guy got pinched. One of the other ones, let's see, which one was it? I mean, like that guy's a little hairy down there. That don't look great. This one looks fine. I think it was the other one that looked really bad. Where was that guy? Let's see if we can show you. Yeah, like this guy was pinched real bad. Look at that. So I don't know how the heck that thing wasn't leaking out of there, but this thing too. Woo! Woo-wee! So we are changing those out. Hopefully these ones don't leak. We'll do a little fuel prime on ECM link before we fire it up, but yeah, I'll get these finished up and show you what it looks like. So the fuel injectors are in. I kind of routed the connectors behind the fuel rail just so they're not sticking out front. I don't even know if you really can get them up front just the way these injectors work, but yeah, that looks pretty nice. So we just got to see if they seal, but we're not going to go for that yet. Now we got to, since they're high Z injectors, we need to go to the resistor box, take the connector off, and we're just gonna solder all the wires together. So that's the guy right there, you can see it. So we'll unbolt that, put the wires together. So there's the soldered resistor pack, and so we'll just I got this little zip tie thing on here because it won't go back in with the old one, so I'm gonna just put this back in that little support bracket down there that was holding it on right there, so just to keep it kind of tucked away, not dangling. Making some more progress on the Talon today. We've got our ARP head studs in there, they're all bolted up. I didn't take the head off or anything. Again, I just did it one by one. So took the stock bolt out, head bolt out, and then threw in the ARP stud and threw the washer and nut on there and torqued them down just one by one. And yeah, then we got Kyle to do some, so we chopped off that reducer that goes to a 2-inch here, and we got some 2.5 inch. And we actually started, this is the first time using the TIG welder. So we brought the TIG out, because the MIG wasn't working very good. So yeah, we got a nice little piece of pipe here, and then we got a new V-band because the one that came on the car didn't mate up with the one that I had to buy for the downpipe. So we need to do this guy. New V-band on there, so that'll be all right. Once we get those two things welded, we don't have a whole heck of a lot to do. I mean, we'll see what happens when we get everything all bolted up, but we still need to do a tune, obviously. Quick update. So I just drilled the oil pan to 3/4 for my 3/4 inch drain line for my turbo. So I was going to take the pan off, but that looks like an absolute nightmare. So all I did was just fill the pan back up with oil and greased up the drill bit, and then just drilled the 3/4 inch hole. So that's all I did for that guy. And then I'm going to be flushing it, refilling it, doing that several times, and then I'll get an oil change after like the first 200 kilometers or so, just to make sure. I don't think anything got out of in there, just because I saw a ton of debris coming out of the hole because I did fill it with oil. So I think that helped a lot. So make sure you keep oil in it if you're going to be doing this. But yeah, I just want to give you guys an update on the drain line progress for this car. So we'll just be attaching that Morrison fab line just right there to there here shortly. All right, we'll just kind of show you guys where we're at here now. So we've got the 2.5 inch pipe all ready to go. So that's wicked. The down pipe has the new flange on, and it's like a little loose, so I can maneuver it, just because we still need to do the actual down pipe, not just off the turbo, but we're still going to need to mock this up. So I left this a little loose so we could play with it. So that's looking really sweet. We're making a lot of progress there. And then under the car, let's see if I can get under here for you guys. There's that drain line we were talking about. So that thing looks pretty wicked. Very nice. So hopefully that is a nice investment for us. But yeah, everything's going pretty well so far. I still haven't cut these lines or put the clamps on them yet, but we still got quite a bit of work to do. So with everything on, there was really nowhere to go but up with the wastegate dump tube. So we're gonna be drilling a hole in the hood and dumping it out there. Nice, eh? So we drilled the bottom, and then we masked the top, and then we're gonna drill from the top in so it doesn't flare out when we're drilling it. Got this all covered up.
Need to get it spinning first.
There it is. Access. All right, guys, Kyle's done the weld job. I'll show you what this thing looks like with the hood closed. So it's pretty nice, and now he's gonna set up the injectors so we can get this thing idling while I clean some stuff up. But yeah, we got it all bolted up. I still gotta put the heat shield on and put the intake on, but we're almost there. All right, so she fires up. We got a little smoke from our exhaust wrap on the down pipe, but it Kyle's just playing with some of the settings inside, but we have a small vacuum leak coming from the head where it sits in from the injector where it sits inside, so I gotta fix that, readjust the rail, but otherwise no leaks so far. That's just a bunch of coolant that pissed out, but it's looking good. Well, since we got the hood dumped, now we need to make a little surround. So Kyle's gonna make me a nice little aluminum surround for this thing. He doesn't know what he's doing though.
Where's
so
my steel rule?
so we'll get this on there pretty soon here. Yep. Not bad.
Should be pretty all right.
Got the snips. It's like a little kid playing with construction paper. This is like
Sheet aluminum is just car construction paper, man.
yeah.
We'll do the rest with the tools.
This is what they teach you in school. They're like prepping you for things like this.
No, they're trying to teach you to not be mechanic, but I didn't pay attention.
So now I'm mechanic. Very nice. And bam. I think that fits pretty good. Now we just gotta mount it. Yeah, we kind of got it a little bit on the bump there, but she's nice and flexible. Just like you, Kyle.
I wish.
Cool. Well, we're finally getting that remote tune. I've got Kevin Jewer here and we're getting some data logging in. We've got a couple revisions in already. So we're pretty much there for the bass tune, but it's getting pretty late. So we'll probably finish up here tonight with a bass tune and tackle some more boost tomorrow. But yeah, we're making some progress on this and I'll let you guys know what it's looking like tomorrow. Alright guys, well that's kind of it for the video. We did a lot in this one, but the turbo's in, it's running, it's driving, we just need to get it tuned. So we're kind of working on that. It's got a little bit of a bass map on it right now, but we can't do any pulls yet. So we'll wait for the tune to get in there and I'll let you guys know what we get up to and see what kind of horsepower we're making on the new setup. So stay posted and till next time.